Good morning. Trying a little different setup here. I've got a deal to hold my phone. Good morning. It is Monday, April 19th or something like that. Hopefully we don't have a case of the Mondays. Got several things we're going to do today. Just going to try and take you guys along. It's about 7 o'clock. We're going to start off doing some chores. Got some fat calves to feed and some backgrounded calves to feed. And then we've got to get some chemical in our pasture sprayer. We're going to go spray some Escort on Fescue for seed head suppression. I'll take you along for that here in just a little bit. And maybe we'll get to play with the skid steer a little bit today. So let's get us some feed. We'll go feed some calves. You guys curious what I'm doing? Come on, go eat. Alright, we'll go ahead and start this 7130. One more group of calves to feed. Group of calves we just weaned back March 1st. Actually, I think it was a few days before March 1st, but there were 40 head. I've got 10 heifers down on our heifer development pasture. There's about 30 head left in here, mostly steers. I think there's 6 or 7 heifers left in here, but they're getting fed out. Most of these will get sold. Well, most of these will get sold as fats, just like that other group, come December, January. Some of the smaller ones will cut loose probably this coming fall as 7-8 weights. But they're getting their breakfast. I got to get a bale of hay put in for this old bull. For me at the gate. He must be hungry. And he probably thinks he's gonna get out. Oh, oh. Yeah, he thought he was gonna get the lead. Nope. Hey. Some of you might wonder, those of you that know, wonder, why do you put a small square bale of hay in that big feeder for a big bull? Well, he's 8 years old. We got him in 2014. He's a balancer bull. He's 3/4 Gelbvieh and 1/4 Angus. But he's 8 years old. He's still breeding. He's still sound, but he's starting to move around slower. You can tell he's getting some age on him. And I raised another bull to be his replacement. And we could have probably run him for another couple years, but the main reason we're going to sell him is that I've kept lots of heifers over the last 7 years out of him, and our cow herd is primarily based off of him. Lots of balancer females in our herd. So the cows that I could breed him to, that group was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So we needed to do something different with bulls. So he's going to go to town this Wednesday. So there's no sense in putting a big round bale of hay in there that he'll eat on for a couple days, and then it'll sit in there. So I'm just going to feed him some square bales here for a few days just to get him till Wednesday morning when he gets picked up. To you guys, you won't be able to tell, but I got the 7130 all shined up. Last weekend, I completely detailed it and waxed it, washed it, cleaned the interior out. She's looking as good as she has in years. Now we're going to take it out and go spray and get it all muddy. So this is our pasture sprayer. It's pretty much a homemade concoction. Uses a hydraulic pump. It's got an electric shut-off valve for the boom, so I can leave the pump on but shut the booms on and off from the cab. It's honestly pretty crude. It's got boomless nozzles on it, holds 300 gallon. It'll spray about 25-30 feet, so it does what we need it to do. We mostly are spraying blackberry briars and weeds. We're not covering tons of acres. Used spray brush and stuff too, so but this morning we're going to be putting some Escort in here, which that's the brand name. I can't think of the actual trade name of the chemical, but put it on at a real light application. It's like a 1/4 ounce per acre, and you put it on Fescue right now. Here in Kansas, the middle of April, Fescue is just starting to go into boot stage, so it's just getting ready to start putting out a head. You spray it on Fescue and it will actually suppress those seed heads and keep a lot of them from coming up, which if you have any experience at all with like Kentucky 31 Fescue or Endophyte Fescue, it just helps keep that endophyte down, and the cows really like it. They graze on it through the summer, where it's normal fescue, they'll kind of quit grazing on it. and it's good for weed control. The only thing is that it does hurt your fescue production. But we fertilized all our pastures, so it should still be good. And we're not spraying all of it. We're only spraying select paddocks and select areas. All right, we got our escort. So it comes in a little bottle in like a dry granular form. So the best thing to do is to get a little container, put some water in it, put your dry chemical or whatever in it, mix it up and dissolve it, and then put it in your tank. Otherwise, you run the chance of it not fully dissolving, and you're not actually getting the right rate. So that's what I'm doing right now. Well, we've got our chemical in the tank. We're going to start the tractor up, start the hydraulic pump, and let this start agitating, and we'll go run the calves out of the feed lots and while this agitates for a minute. All right, the pump's running. As you can see, we got some pressure. So right now it's just, this valve is shut off and it's just bypassing, and it's just going right back to the tank and circulating. All right, they've left on their own, so we'll go shut the gate. Go on, get out. You might wonder, why am I bothering running these things out of the lot? Why don't I just leave it open and let them come and go? Well, just a little tip and trick out there, and I know it takes more time, and there's a lot of people that they just leave their lots open, but I don't like letting my calves, whatever, lounge in where I'm feeding them. They'll come in here and just lounge around throughout the day, and that means they'll be pooping and peeing in this lot and tromping around, and it just gets to be more of a mess. If you only let them in here to eat and then immediately run them out, they generally won't poop very much, very little really. I imagine we'll only find just a hair bit of manure in here. And they come in, they eat and they leave. They don't go all around and trample around. See, like all that, they've not even been over there or really over there. Just the path to the bunks. If you just let them come in here, they'll touch every square inch of this lot, and it'll just, the entire thing would be a muddy mess. So your lots stay firmer, cleaner. It's a lot. The main reason is because it gets muddy around here and stays muddy. So your lots stay a lot nicer. Plus you have the added benefit of being able to put out the feed and not have to deal with moving in and around cows. Because sometimes that's not fun. Sometimes they don't care that you're there. All right, we'll let our GPS start up here. And I'll head down the road here in just a minute. Boy, the wheat sure has grown. Most of it, at least the stuff that got put in early, it's getting ready to start shooting out heads. Almost, probably I'd say 95% of the corn in the country has been planted as well. My uncle got his corn planted here just the other day. So it's in the ground. I've seen quite a bit of it already coming out of the ground. Alright, well, we're going. It'd be nice if I had auto steer, but this light bar I'll just have to do for now. But spraying this escort on this fescue to get some seed head suppression. And also it kind of forces the fescue to stay in the growing stage rather than maturing. cows will graze on it longer. Been a lot of tests and studies done in this area on this. And we tried it for the first time last year on a couple paddocks of grass over at the shed. And it worked pretty good. Biggest issue is that it will, if you have any clover, any legumes or anything like that, it'll kill that stuff, which is the, I'd say the one drawback. If you have that, if you don't have any of that in your pastures, then it's probably no big deal. But we do have, in fact out here, there's a decent amount of clover in places. And so I'm probably going to end up killing all that out, unfortunately. But we'll only do this to a spot. Maybe you can't do it, or you shouldn't do it every year. If you do it year after year after year, it'll slowly thin down your fescue and really just kill it out and get rid of it. And so you don't want to do it every year. So the paddocks I did last year, we won't be doing this year. I didn't do this last year, so we're going to do it this year. And I'm not doing all the pastures, I'm only doing select areas. So I'm doing this pasture because it'll be quite a while before the cows are on it. And so by the time I get cows on it, this will all be matured and the seed heads will all be up and everything. So we're going to do this now and see how it goes, since it'll be a month yet probably before I even put cows out here. So that's what we're doing. So maybe next year, I've been thinking about this for a while. I think maybe next year we need to spread some clover seed on our pastures and overseed with some clover. I think it'd be a pretty good idea. I think maybe this year we should attack our pastures pretty heavily with spraying for weeds, spraying with 2,4-D and stuff. Get those weeds suppressed down, and then maybe next year put on some clover, see how that goes. Well, we got it all sprayed. I only did about 15, 16 acres worth, but rinsed the tank out, drained it, then put fresh water in it. Now I'm running fresh water through the system to try and clean everything out, and then we'll unplug the drain and drain everything out. It's supposed to freeze here in a couple days, so we need to try and get as much water out of it as we can. So get this done and we'll get this thing put up.